Good morning, everybody. Happy Moon Day. Monday after a full moon. Get it trending. Happy Moon Day. My name is Alyssa. Welcome back to Room for Sunshine. So I am not really one of those full on moon people. As in, I haven't studied astrology. I haven't taken the deep dive into the moons and the stars and the planets and the retrogrades. I'm the kind of person who I'm like, oh, it's a full moon. I look up online, I read a couple, Times of India and Cosmopolitan and all of these random websites where somebody else does the work for me. And I like to just skim. So I'm kind of I take in information from all the different people, all the different places, the Instagrams that I follow, a few friends of mine who do it. And I gather in the information and I kind of dissect it and I'm like, okay, I understand what the point of this moon is. And so I take that information, I apply it into my own life, my own understanding of nature and of evolution and of the astrology that I do know. And then I apply it how I need to. And I say this because last night I hosted a full moon event with a good friend of mine, and it was a beautiful container where we just dove into intention setting. And that was really the heart of it, was building community and reflecting on what's been, what's to come through intention. And I want to bring that into this morning, which is, if you are unaware, we are exactly about halfway through the year. So this full moon was sort of the moon that is at the most centered point of our calendar year. We had 6 months before, we have 6 months ahead of us. Happy July, that's where we're at. And I think that's a very practical way to look at what I want to talk about today. So if you resonate with the moon and the stars and your sun sign and your moon sign and your rising sign and all of that, and you're like, yes, amazing, you can use some of this in that brain. If you are somebody who is like, nope, that's not it for me, and I know that I'm a Cancer and that's as much as I ever need to know, also great. This has very little, what I'm going to talk about today, to do with the energy of it all, but I want to just talk about a midpoint. We are at a midpoint. If you follow this calendar year and you start with New Year's on January 1st and you end with New Year's Eve on December 31st, we are in the middle of that. And so for this Monday, I don't want to bypass acknowledging the halfway point through the year, because I think that there is a great opportunity to zoom out. A lot of what we talk about on this podcast and even in our day-to-day lives is very micro focused. We go, how can I set a boundary with my boss? How can I have a better relationship with my roommate? How can I step into more courage when it comes to asking for what I want? And even with Ask Alyssa, normally the questions are more specific. It's like, I am facing this problem, I'm looking for this solution. And those are great. That's important to do, is to start dissecting all of the little moments in our lives. But today I want to really take a macro perspective, a zoomed out look within a container. So let's just look at the past 6 months and think to yourself, what's happened? What's not happened? And I say that because there's a lot of times we have expectations for ourselves. We're like, I wanted in this calendar year to find a new relationship, to go out and make that project that I wanted to make, and, to, I don't know, go on a vacation, whatever your list is. You're with me. It's still Monday. And so take a few minutes if you can today and just reflect on the past few months. Where have you been? And where is not just where have you been country-wise, where have you been is the offices, the gyms, the religious centers, the travel, the homes, the friends' homes, just think about all the places that you've been over the past few months. Think about all the people you've met or interacted with, from strangers to friends to family, old friends, people who have come and gone. And see if you can just spend a few minutes reflecting. And that can be while you're driving, in the car. We don't need to reflect with a journal and a pen, and we don't need to reflect in meditation. We can reflect right here. I'm doing it right now as I'm speaking. I'm reflecting on what I did yesterday. So take a few minutes at some point today just to think about what have the past 6 months been like for me. And then spend a few minutes after that thinking about the future. What do I want in the next 6 months? Maybe what do I want tomorrow? Or sometimes it's good to know, okay, within 2 years, this is my big goal. But I like the idea of 6 months because I think it's a tangible amount of time where we're not expecting something to happen overnight, but we are moving towards something at a rapid enough speed. There's motivation. It's like you probably have plans already for October. Something that's going to happen in September or October. You might even know something that's going to happen in December. So when we have those markers, thinking 6 months in advance isn't that crazy. So look at the past. Think about the future. What are some things that you want in the future? Places you want to go, people you want to meet, personal goals for yourself. And then the final reflection is just to look at yourself as you are today, wherever you are, however you are, and check in with what would support that transition through this midpoint. Because a midpoint in a lot of ways is a transition. It is a shift from one point to another. We're doing this all the time. We're always transitioning, right? From something to something else, from somewhere to somewhere else. You get in the car, you're in a transition from place A to location B. But since we're working with the same calendar, and it is a very practical thing, a tangible calendar to use, today's exercise is really to go, okay, at this midpoint of the year, can I check in with what is working and what's not working? And this full moon is in Capricorn, and Capricorn is a very organizational sign. It's very action oriented. So if it helps you, you might make a list of some of these things you're calling in or some of the things you're letting go of. You might brainstorm a few words. What do I want in the next 6 months? Let me call it in 5 words. I love doing that. I think that it's very powerful to write down just what's the theme? Like, what's the theme of what you want to bring in? For me, I want to bring in, I'll do it with you really fast. I want to bring in flow. I want to bring in passion. I want to bring in stability. I want to bring in patience, and I want to bring in breakthrough. Those are my 5. See, doesn't need to be a 30-minute process. It might be. You could do more words, or it might take you a while for those to come for you. I'm primed. I was guiding other people in finding their words last night, so that's why I'm able to move through it fast. And it might change, and that's okay. This is just a way to start reflecting on the first half of the year, so that we can step into the second half with that full force, full love, full energy, full self. And that's going to be it today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Share the podcast with a friend at Room for Sunshine. Send in your Ask Alyssas for Thursday. I will be back ready to answer your questions and support you as big or as small as it might be. If it's meaningful to you, it matters to me. Have an amazing week, and I will see you next time.